Therapists and psychiatrists of Reddit. What is the best/most uplifting recovery journey you've witnessed? Therapist here. Withholding information for privacy reasons. Kids for me are really rewarding and inspiring to work with. One kid growled and yelled at me. Wouldn't talk to me at all. Fought and stole from kids. He had severe trauma of all kinds at a really young age and wasn't given a chance. Refused to attend classes at school. By the end he did a complete 180. Not just because of counseling, but also great support from the school. But his transformation was incredible. He went from yelling and growling out of anger to verbalizing hurt it stemmed from. It was truly amazing. One that stands out most was a woman who had used heroin, alcohol, and crack for all of her adult life. She was homeless, had never really held a job, and had multiple legal problems due to her drug use. At 50-something, she had decided to get clean, and did so for several months, until her child was murdered. She had a brief relapse, but got clean again. In 4 years, she sorted out her legal issues, reconnected with her family, left her abusive partner, obtained her own housing, volunteered regularly, and completed a 4-year degree. I can't imagine having gone from a complete street lifestyle, enduring the worst tragedy one can imagine newly sober, and then entering and excelling in academia. Honestly, it's not the huge stories that stand out. It is little things that people accomplish during their recovery. A person meeting their grandchild for the first time because they've gotten clean. A person that always wanted to go to the circus but had never gone because money always went to drugs. A person finishing school or actually keeping a job. A person leaving an abusive relationship and excelling. A person finally reaching out to family and getting an answer back or kind words after years of broken promises. As many other therapists mentioned, we can't share many things because of confidentiality. But here's something I can share. Anytime a previously depressed, disinterested, apathetic, or suicidal client tells me about a new hobby or passion, I get so excited. Doesn't matter what it is. Dungeons and Dragons, pet rats, growing herbs, 3D printing, anime, video games, geocaching. I don't know about any of those things, but if my client is excited about it, I'm over the moon and I want to hear all about it. Seeing them find a passion for something, no matter if it's something that I personally find weird or boring, that's a part of my job that I love, and I will sit and listen and cheer them on, and I will leave that session feeling so happy. Had a client with chronic illnesses. She was often sick or in pain and felt terribly guilty for not being able to care for her family when she had really bad days. On the days when she felt good, she would push herself to her absolute limit by cooking and cleaning and fitting in as much family time as she could before she felt sick again. Inevitably, she would wake up the next day feeling way worse than she did previously because she overextended herself. This became a rather predictable cycle. It took months to convince her to slow down a little on the days she felt good and to take care of herself on those days too so that her good days might last a little longer, and to stop feeling guilty for her bad days. She was able to find a balance and improve her overall quality of life. She did amazingly, and I still think about her from time to time. It's been 10 years. I hope she's still killing it. Eater. Thank you everyone for the awards and comments. And thank you to everyone who shared their stories. To everyone who is recovering and doing well, I'm so proud of you. To everyone still struggling, take care of yourselves. I'm rooting for you. I'm not a psychiatrist or a therapist and I have not been in a recovery journey. However, there was this girl on my class at high school who must have had some kind of trauma, because she almost never spoke. And when she did, it was almost like a whisper. She must have felt really anxious around people, because she would always secretly escape during school day trips to go home. My friend and I took her with us. We were a bit of outcasts already, but she could not communicate well, even when we asked her questions about her hobbies etc. Talking made her really uncomfortable. So we just let her hang around, and she did follow us for all high school. Many years later I saw her by chance on the street and she talked to me with a normal voice tone. We had a whole conversation. And she was fashionable. And had a husband who adores her. Later she got pregnant and gave birth to a baby girl. She is the biggest transformation I've ever seen, and I'm so happy for her. I'm a therapist, and when I think of all my successful clients I can see how wonderful it would be to hear the success stories. When I think of success stories, I cannot imagine a way to anonymize the information enough to protect privacy and keep it interesting. Like to protect privacy, it would be along the lines of they started a medication that helped them feel well enough to start doing the therapeutic change work. They overhauled their life and changed their interactions with others and are now doing awesome. Working with literally any client and being able to collaboratively work towards what is important to them. It's hard to pick a favorite, since everyone's journey is extremely meaningful in one way or another. Undefined. So to any MH professionals, keep it vague at best, if you indeed choose to share. They may be inspirational to us, but it's also not up to us to share the stories of others from what they consider a safe and private space. Not a therapist, but I can tell you a little of my own journey. I was chronically depressed. Had PTSD from being abused as a child, and had no self-esteem. My therapist started using cognitive behavioral therapy, and I discovered meditation, and things started changing. I'm a completely different person than I was 5 years ago. I'm confident. I don't give a rat's ass what other people think, and I know, that I'm a good and worthy person who deserves a good life. So there ya go. CBT and meditation FTW. I'm a therapist inside and outside of the prisons. I'd say at least 1x a month I meet an inmate that was likely a major piece of speep when they committed their crimes. Fast forward 10 to 20 years of incarceration later, and they are intellectual, hard-working men of integrity. It's amazing what a little bit of structure can do for someone. I'm a therapist and mine is one of my clients getting out of a ridiculous, controlling relationship. He had difficulty conceptualizing that abusive emotional and physical relationships can happen to men, and it was so bad that he internalized all those negative feelings. I'm talking about significant, bad speep controlling to like send me a snap every 10 minutes. No even looking at other girls. You aren't allowed to be outside type of thing. Working through all of those issues over years was super satisfying to see his progress and recovery. Really brief version, I started needing help around 19 as I started sorting out my sexuality. I just got some counseling etc. and was okay but not great. Had a very bad time at about 25. Took a number of years to get through it. Went on meds. Was in hospital for suicide attempts etc. My partner ended up threatening to leave cause she couldn't watch me self-destruct anymore. I couldn't bear being stuck in limbo anymore. So had a long inner talk and came to the conclusion that I either needed to die or I needed to move on because nothing could be worse than the half-life I was living. Went to a naturopath and got a plan together to come off all the meds, most horrible no joy diet ever, slowly weaned off antidepressants and antipsychotics. Started exercising and took myself back to uni. After getting rid of all the crap made sure I found a good counselor and learned how to diffuse the spirals. Also did some EMDR stuff along the way which helped a bit. One of the biggest things for me though has been getting into martial arts and learning to recognize early signs of depressive thoughts and distracting myself before a spiral can take hold. Been more than 10 years without meds. Have a PhD in communication. A second and black belt in Taekwondo, and I'm still with the same partner 15 years now. I love how you have turned around your life. And how your partner had your back all along.